I'm reading this from Joey's book, and I kind of picked up on the stuff he's shown me. Now I know the basic fundamentals of audio, how to record it, what it is. I'm not an expert in audio, but I'm relaying the information from Joey's book, so at least I can give you the fundamental understanding of the different kinds of audio, how to record it and what it is. As with previous videos, bear with me, but the first part of this video is about audio interfaces. Following the fundamental rule that you should never record audio directly from your phone, your laptop, your desktop. That means there's a chance you're going to have to use an audio interface. Here's one I made earlier. Now, it'd be great if I can just reel off what the f this was, so just pretend I am. It's an Audient ID14, ID14. It's got some pretty knobs on it, and you know how much I like my knobs. I don't really know what this is, I'm gonna be honest. But it does light up, and it does pretty things. So it's essentially a piece of hardware that connects a microphone to your computer, your laptop. Some interfaces, called mixers, allow you to control the audio more precisely. So you can adjust the gain and the volume, the decibels, and the other gain. It's got gain on there twice. So you can adjust the gains. The only gains I know about is in the gym. What? Yeah, I'm a dick. So if you purchase an Xlr microphone, then you're gonna need one of these. Some USB microphones allow for a mixer to control the audio, but not all of them require a mixer, so the majority of them you can just plug straight into your laptop. Pretty much any standard professional microphone will have an Xlr input. So one of these leads and that bad boy. Get in there, you. It's not the right lead. I said I didn't know anything about audio. And that'll connect directly in there. Find the other end, stick it in there, nice and good, and there you are. What? And that's audio interfaces. If you want something more in depth, Google audio interfaces. This next bit's about microphones and when to use them. So now that you understand a bit more about the two kind of microphone connections, probably gives you a little bit more info on which one would be best suited for you, and you can start to shop around a bit. But if you're still unsure, there's a couple of points here that will hopefully guide you in a direction to which one you should get. So some questions you should ask yourself are, will the person speaking also be on camera? Will you be shooting outdoors? What is your budget? How important is audio quality? Do you want to be able to adjust the audio? And finally, how often will you use the equipment? With those answers in mind, let's have a little look at the kind of microphones that are available. So the first one is a shotgun mic. So shotgun mics have to be pointed directly at the speaker. So directional microphones like shotgun mics use interference tubes. Yes, interference tubes, you heard it here first. So an interference tube is essentially a plastic cover that covers some of the microphone at the bottom and the sides. This cancels out sounds from other directions. Oh, got some cardioids again. These mics include hypercardioid, supercardioid and a low bar. One of the most common ways in bigger budget high professional video is with an operator, an audio operator, and they would tend to use a shotgun mic on a boom pole, which is like a, well, it's a pole with the microphone attached at the end. So these poles basically stop the mic being in shot, you know, because otherwise you start to get stuff that just pops in and you don't, oh, sorry about that. Other shotgun mics tend to be more stuff like these. These little shotgun mics, probably something you're more familiar with or will be more familiar with. They tend to use a hot shoe mount, which you stick on the top of your camera. This is just a little DSLR GH5, and you plug it into your mic jack, 3.5 mic. Most of them will be battery powered. Bigger shotgun mics tend to have phantom power to it, which means it's powered from a camera or another power source. But yeah, these are great, obviously directional, so they're kind of blocking out sound from all the other sides. If you're kind of running and gunning and handheld, or just using smaller cameras like this, you're more than likely going to have a shotgun mic on top. We recommend Rode. They make a load of these and they're really good. It's on like a little springy suspension thing. I don't know if you can see that. That kind of stops the vibrations. That's a shotgun mic. Most of the bigger shotgun mics, oh, that was on camera, that was good. So most of the more professional shotgun mics, like this bad boy, I think this is called the NTG1, don't quote me on that. No, this is the NTG2. These would be XLR input. Most shotgun mics are XLR input. Apart from little jobbies like this, these tend to be 3.5 jack, so like the headphones jack size. Most of the time if you're using a shotgun mic or an XLR input and you're recording on your DSLR or your webcam or your desktop or something, you're not gonna be able to record directly into a computer or them devices, so you're gonna want to use an audio recorder. A popular one is a H4n. They're pretty cheap to pick up nowadays, I think around $100 to $200. The H6 is the one we use, which is this one. I think it's a, $300-400, but definitely a worthwhile investment. So because you're using an external recorder, you're gonna have to sync up the sound and make sure it matches in post-production. So if you're using a DSLR, keep the mic on so that you can sync up the sound. There's a few ways in post-production to sync it up. I tend to use it off the waveform and just kind of match up if they both have audio. A lot of these software programs have auto sync now, so you can put 2 clips in if they got the same audio wavelength and it just sync them up. So the thing I always do, regardless of these auto sync tools in post, is I get a clap. Probably seen, I don't know where it is, I broke it last time. Probably seen like clapper boards. That's essentially to sync sound. I do it at the beginning, big clap, get the presenter, whoever's on camera, to do a clap. That way you know you've got a peak in the audio waveform that you can match up in the timeline. Makes things so much easier. Something that I tend to do, which maybe not everyone does, so my first take would be a clap. If I mess up, bugger, then I do 2 claps. That way I can see it's my second attempt. That's just something I do. I'm not sure everyone does it, but it is quite useful. That's probably something that I'm just a little bit more familiar with when it comes to audio. So next one is handheld. I don't have a proper handheld mic here. Everyone will know what a handheld mic is. It's an omnidirectional handheld microphone and it's got a big ball at the top. It's essentially one of these with a big ball at the top. So rather than it coming straight out, it's spreading around. So it's picking up a lot of sound and omnidirectional. I've not really had much experience with like this kind of handheld mics. I think the only time I've used one is when I've done karaoke, but I was a little bit trolleyed, so it doesn't really count. But they're more for presenting, singing, I don't know. Omnidirectional mics, everyone. Thank you. Okay, so the next one is one I use more often, called a lapel mic, or a lavia mic, or a labia, a libia, a lavia, a liver. I call it a lapel mic. They tend to attach to your collar, or some people, if they're wearing a sun hat, kind of feed it through, stick it in the hat, picks up a good amount of audio here. But yeah, this is a great place to have it. Majority of the time they're wireless and they're really easy to use. This is the same one I'm wearing. It's a Sennheiser. It's got a wireless receiver, little mic. This is again an XLR input. Stick in the back of camera if you've not got one. Reds don't typically have XLR built in. It's got a little A box. You know, slot it in top, turn it on, pair it, and you're good to go. These are great for anyone that's on camera, who's walking around a lot, gonna be in and out of places. If it's just gonna be busy run and gun stuff, you know, there's no like wires and stuff all tangling around and getting in the way. Really convenient, easy to use, good quality sound, especially these ones. But again, like with the handheld ones, these are omnidirectional, so they pick up sound from all over the place, which isn't great if you're at like a building site. Or you know, a music event or a concert, or there's just a lot of background noise, it's going to pick up a lot of that as well. If you place it incorrectly, or there's an obstruction, you know, like a necklace or a collar, then you know, it'll ruffle up, things will rub on it, and it picks up the sound a lot. They're really sensitive. Have a little listen to the sound back before you do a longer take. Watch it back on your laptop, watch it back on a device, make sure the sounds are right, and then continue recording. Okay, the next one is voice recorder. So we briefly covered this. This is H6. You can have 4 channels, 4 different mics. It's also great as a little voice recorder. It comes with a couple of attachments. So this one's an Omni mic, again, all around. And the next one's, it's kind of like a little shotgun mic. These are directional, really good for interviews and focusing the sound on one particular space. Problem with these is, although the sound recorded from these are really good, they're never going to beat having a proper mic, which is why we always have a wireless lapel XLR mic, stick it in, good to go. You do have the option of recording a couple of tracks at once. So you can use the mic on top and then the external input. Also, the only problem with these, if you're not using the XLR or the external input, is you have to hold them near the speaker the whole time, or place it somewhere near the speaker, which I mean it's often in shot or it's just not convenient, so it's going to get in the way. It's not as convenient as other mics. On the plus side, you don't really need any other equipment to use it. You know, stick an SD card in or whatever it takes and you're good to go. So these are a good option if you want higher quality audio, you know, rather than using your camera, your phone, your desktop, but you can't afford the bigger microphones. They're a little bit more expensive. I think personally they're a really good investment, especially these H6, because it's got the option to stick your XLR stuff in. If you want to upgrade to a higher quality microphone in the future, you can record some really top-notch sound into this. They're future-proof. Just make sure you get the right models. Now, I did order a load of stuff for this next one. This is a desktop mic and it's not come. Amazon Prime, why did I pay the extra for you? So the desktop mic isn't here, but I stick some B-roll stuff up of it afterwards, and I also do a little audio comparison, and I kind of stick them all next to each other. But yeah, we don't have it to hand right now to show you, but it will be here. Go. Hey guys, slight change of outfit, because it's a different day, but this next bit is about desktop mics. So I've ordered one in, top quality stuff. I think it was all in all about 13 quid. We don't skimp here, okay? So desktop mic, goes without saying, sits on your desktop, plug it into your computer, USB, sometimes 3.5 jack, boom, done, easy. The one I've got isn't a professional one. It's just a little one to demonstrate the difference between them. The setup that we have, it's ones that we use for podcasts. So there's two of them, really high quality ones. Joey loves them. They go into the audio interface, into the laptop. This one plugs directly into your laptop via USB. Here is the little mic. USB input, and it's got 3.5 on the back as well. Little thingamajig. I can't remember what they're called. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get all of them lined up. So the shotgun mic, the lapel, the desktop mic, the voice recorder, the microphone, all of them, just all of them. I'll stick them all up, record something, and then I'll flick between the tracks. That way you can kind of hear the audio quality difference, and it might even help you decide which one's best for you. One other thing I wanted to talk about, which isn't mentioned, not in this section anyway, and I think it should be, is your phone. I've got the Samsung Z Flip. It's a flippy phone, it's cool, I'm a nerd. So pretty much all Samsungs, especially the new ones, have a thing called a voice recorder. It's actually pretty useful. It might not be the ideal thing when you shoot a video, but if you want to take notes or use it as a scratch audio, which is essentially an audio track which you can sync up to later, it's a great voice recorder. Audio, it's a bit hit and miss. You've got to be pretty close. So it's not going to work on camera too well. I'll try and chuck this audio in, mix between the two. In fact, phone audio, phone audio, phone audio, not phone audio, not phone audio, not phone audio. See what I did there? It's pretty good though. So that's my little roundup that's going to be squeezed into yesterday's video. You won't even know, apart from the change in t-shirt, and the fact I said so. But other than that, you wouldn't have a clue. Peace. Okay, so I'm going to do the sound comparison test now. I've got all the mics hooked up. I've got the lapel to the red. I've got the shotgun mic through the whatever the that's called. Oh shit. I've got the shotgun mic going through the audio interface into the MacBook. I've got the desktop mic going into the iMac. I've got a phone recorder on my phone. H4n for the voice recorder, and the GH5 with a shotgun mic on. There's background noise, but that's good, so it gives you a good idea of what works and what doesn't in this scenario. Bear with me while I press record on absolutely everything. Record. Okay, so I think they're all working. Okay, so I'm going to switch between the 6 of them, or I'm going to get Tom too. So you'll hear me on the red. Hello, red. Now you'll hear me on the audio interface going through the MacBook. Desktop mic. This one's probably shite. My phone recorder, which guaranteed will probably be the best one here for no apparent reason. The Zoom H4. Sorry, the Zoom H6, and then the shotgun mic to the GH5. I don't know what to do to flip between the lot, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They look a bit like a digital Mr. T. I put it at full. So there's a quick comparison guide on the different kinds of mics, their pros and their cons. So I'll just read it off. You're used to me looking down now, so here we go. Desktop mic. Pro, it's convenient at working at a desk. Cons, it's not portable. And the handheld mic, the pro is it's versatile. The cons is it's going to be in shot. Lapel mic, the pros is it's wireless, easy to place close to your speaker. Now it says here there's a con. It takes time and skill to fit the person, difficult to use in noisy areas. I wouldn't say it takes too much time and skill to stick a mic on, but it does take a bit of practice on the best location. And also, yeah, it's not great in every scenario if there's a lot of ambient noise. Shotgun mic, great sound quality, little ambient noise, high level of control. Cons, there's a bit of a learning curve, they're expensive. Majority of the time they're going to be XLR input, and if your camera doesn't have an XLR input, you're going to need an external device. Voice recorders, speaking of said external device. Wireless, portable, generally inexpensive. They tend to be lower quality than better shotgun mics, and they look strange in shot on camera. That's a quick video on sound. In the next video we're going to be talking about smartphones, how to get the best out of using your smartphone for shooting if you can't afford the bigger DSLR stuff, or if you're just starting out and you want to get a feel for it. And we go over some good tips on accessories you can buy to improve the quality of your smartphone video, audio bits, general tips and tricks on making the most out of a smartphone camera for shooting video. Peace.